Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 47 of Direwolf20's Enigmatica 2 Expert Mode series. Did a little something cool between episodes that I want to show you guys. Basically, I automated the insertion of the compressed resources into each of these inventories in a way different from how I've done it in the past, and it's actually, I think, more efficient. I also bumped them all up into infusing factories and turned the splits on so that they'll all run automatically. So here's how I set this up, right? I took care of it between episodes, and it's actually pretty compact and looks pretty good. So down here, I have an interface set with a crafting card to keep one of each type of compressed resource in the inventory. And then I have a servo from thermodynamics set to export, always active. And then we've got filters for each one of these set to keep a max of one item in the inventories at all times. So this one is set to this, and this one is set to that, and this one is set to that, and yada, yada, yada. The end result turns out to be that you'll have one compressed redstone sitting in this basic infusing factory, not 64. So in the past, when we've done this, we've usually done something like an export bus, and it would just export and fill up this buffer of 64, right? Because it can keep a stack of them. Well, that's no longer necessary, so we're not going to waste, quote-unquote, 64 diamonds by having 64 compressed diamonds sitting here. We'll just have the one sitting there, then when this gets used, the export bus will kick out another one, and we're good to go. Right? And we can see that happening with the obsidian, right? We just filled up our obsidian, so the next one that comes in will be the last one that gets crafted until it gets used, right? So there it goes. It just made one, and now it's going to make one more for the purposes of filling up this, and then we're good, right? So no more auto-crafting of those things too aggressively, and I think that's pretty cool, right? I think that looks like super compact. By the way, I'm using signal and plated impulse item ducts, which do hook up and connect to the advanced universal cables, which have been powering the machines just fine. So as a result, we have both power and items going into the bottom, and we're compact, and we look good for the most part, and we are also keeping only one of each kind. I guess technically two, right? So we have one compressed redstone here, and we have one compressed redstone here. But that's better than 64 sitting here, because that's like a huge waste, right? Redstone, not a big deal. Diamonds, a big deal, right? 64 diamonds is a lot for what I've currently got going on, right? That would be like half my current stack of diamonds. The other thing, as noted last episode in the comments, is I do have some things. Let's see. So my Y level, looking at... Where's the looking at? Face height. Looking at 450, 305. So technically, Y level 50 does have some ME interfaces there. So we're going to want to be a little bit careful with our digital miner. We might want to flip that to like 49. A lot of people commented that the proper way to be doing this, right? So I'm going to actually reset you because I want to configure you. First off, I want to have your max Y level be 49. Let's make it 48 just to be safe, right? People are saying what I should be doing is whitelisting ore dictionary filters and just do like ore, right? And that would get all your ore types. That's what a lot of people are suggesting I do. My concern is that, like, let's look at what got picked up here, right? I would miss things like, well, I definitely wouldn't get marble, which I do want because, you know, stuff. Like diamond ore, coal ore, redstone ore, that would all be picked up. Clay I wouldn't be getting. I think the amber comes from amber infused ore, right? Amber bearing stone. So I don't know if that would be picked up. Definitely not the V crystals wouldn't be picked up. So there's a few things that may or may not be collected that I might want to collect if I only filtered on ore. Now, to be accurate, what I could do is once I've collected a decent amount of resources, which I have at this point, right? Both here and here, we could go through and whitelist all the different ore types that we want the digital miner to pick up. And we might go through and do that in a few minutes here, because I basically let it run for a while. Today's episode, though, is I want to do something that's also been recommended in the comments. We have a lot of oxygen. Yes? Yes, we do have a lot of oxygen. Guess what you can use oxygen for? Psst. Or tripling from Mekanism. basically combined with the current machines I have and a machine that uses only oxygen, we can get into ore tripling. Now, if we want to go to quadruple or quintuple mode, 4x or 5x mode, then things get really big and crazy. But tripling mode is actually not bad. It just needs oxygen. So my plan for today is to process all my ores using Mekanism and ore tripling. So we're going to set up an ore tripling mechanic today. Let's get started. All right, so what we need is a purification chamber. So that's step one. And then from there, we need a crusher, an enrichment chamber, and a smelter, right? So we need a crusher from Mekanism. And we'll see how much of this stuff we have. Oh, wow, we're low on redstone. Holy cow. To do after we get all this taken care of is stuff like that. We have to deal with that crate and all. But yes, crusher. Now you just need 2 buckets of lava. I have lava. I have lava. I have lava. Where am I putting? Oh, that's right. I have lava down here, don't I? I should really make this accessible in some way. Like that's a thing, right? But we'll come up with a plan for that in the future. So there's your crusher, right? And then we need an enrichment chamber. Not that, right? So I need 2 more steel casings, please. See? Isn't it nice having everything on the autocraft? Yes. Yes, Dyer, it is. It's the best. So that's the purification, the crusher, and everything else is on its way. What else will we need here? The enrichment chamber, and then the smelter. And I'm going to try to tier all those up. You might have noticed that I did tier up the 4 machines downstairs. So, smelter from Mekanism. Sweet, we just need another circuit. All right, so let me get these guys all set up. What I did do was auto-crafting the tier 1 basic installer. So let's get 4 of those. We need more osmium. We're missing 1. So what I've been doing is manually running through and taking care of this stuff, right? So we'll come back in a minute. I'll get the 4, basic dudes. I'm going to just turn you off for a sec so that I can do that, because this is such a small amount of manual that we need to do. And we'll be back in a few minutes once those tier 4s are done crafting. And we're ready to set all this up. Cool. All right, let's pop downstairs and see what kind of trouble we can get into. So, like, this room would be fine for processing ores, right? So we're going to want, if we've got oxygen here, right, let's just right across, right across this line. We'll have the purification chamber, and then we'll have the crusher, and then we'll have the the enrichment chamber, and then the smelter, right? So basically, that's what we want. And for power, we'll just, dire wire it up a little bit. We'll clean all this wiring up in a sec. Right, that's logistical transporters. Here's your juice, right? All with the intention of being cleaned up pretty easily in a few moments, right? So that should be cool, right? And that's what it'll look like when we're done. So you guys all have power now. We want to upgrade your tiers. So that tier thing should be good. Yes, basic tier installer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta-da! And then split on, split on, split on, split on. Cool. All right, so then we need some Mekanism gas pipes, right? So are those tubes? Is that what they're called? Basic pressurized tube for gases. Yes, that. And we need some vibrant quartz glass. So what's that all about? Vibrant quartz glass. Quartz glass plus 2 glowstone, right? So we'll just get 4 of them, because that's pretty straightforward to make. Right. Shouldn't be too bad. I think I have to put a tier upgrade in my crusher, because I think my crusher is still a little bit slow about stuff. But then you should be good for some basic pressurized. And hey, while you're here, make some more electricals for me. Sure, 10 sounds like a number that I'll take. Right, so then we will configure you so that the bottom is your extra, right? So that should be cool. Except for the fact that we have fluid piping there, but we'll have to just work around that a little bit. Like, because this could happen, right? Yeah, it should be fine. So, you go here. Right? And then side config down will be output. So that'll fill up with oxygen. Okay, so that'll get that going. And then your sided config will be to output to the left. Your sided config will be input, output, input, output, input, output. And for now, let's just get a crate there, right? Because we want to test this. Did I have more crates? I don't know. I was playing with them a bunch last episode. Hey, look, I have them in my inventory. Good job, Direwolf. You know how to play this game. So let's get some iron and some lead and some silver and some gold and some copper and some tin and some osmium. All the good things that we're going to want. At some point, we should do something like an export bus, or we'll figure out how we're going to get that going, right? But your sided config will be red will go in, right? So, like, we put osmium ore in here, right? Eject on. But you can't auto import, can you? I believe that to be accurate, right? But you can all auto eject, right? So auto eject on, and on. Cool. And let's get rid of this so that we're not confused here. So that should be good. So then we just need logistical transporters here with you ready to do that. And these guys go in, right? And what we should wind up seeing is this stuff, right? Now, I don't have any speed upgrades or anything in here yet, right? But then we get triple tin clumps, right? So those come from the purification chamber from the tin ore, right? So we got 3 tins, you know, and then you turn into dirty tin dust, right? Which is, you know, that. And then you get processed into pulverized tin, which should land in the smelting factory and be turned into normal tin. How cool is that? I like it. It looks to me like somebody's working pretty good, right? So, like, if we put 3 iron ore in there, right, we should wind up with 9 iron ingots over here once everything's done. Now, as for speed upgrades, we're going to want to process these pretty quickly, right? So we're going to want 32 speed upgrades. I need a lot of osmium for that. And what would I need to get 32 energy upgrades? That we can cook up right now. So let's do that, right? So we'll kick off the energy upgrades. So these things are obviously going to need to, you know, be sped up in such a way. So, like, here's your bottleneck, right? Because you're turning 1 item into 3 items, and then going forward, this has to turn, and this are all your slowdowns. So, like, if I speed this up, this will be my bottleneck, and if I speed this up, this will be my bottleneck. So we may or may not want to put a full suite of 8 speed upgrades in here. If we can, I'd like to balance it such that, you know, these guys are processing at the same speed that this guy's producing, but we'll figure it out, right? For now, let's let some osmium cook, right? So let's throw osmium in there because I'm pretty sure I grabbed some of that. So that should get me 3 stacks of osmium ore. And if we wanted to, that ought to help things, right? just a little bit. That's not terrible. And look at the oxygen. It's like, what? What are you doing to me, Direwolf? Explain. I should probably set you to dump excess here as well, so that you'll continue to produce oxygen even when our hydrogen is backstuffed. Because we're using hydrogen to produce power. Now this means that we'll never backstuff, which is kind of bad because it'll mean this thing's running all the time. Which I guess is kind of a bad thing. But we'll have to... We'll have to figure out how we want to handle that at some point. Dumping excess, dumping idle, right? So that'll... You know, let's keep this at... Well, no. See, the problem is we need to dump excess oxygen for hydrogen, and we need to dump excess hydrogen to produce oxygen. So technically the right solution for this would be to have another electrolytic separator here. One that's dedicated to making hydrogen for our gas pipes, and another that's dedicated to making oxygen for this. It feels like it's wasteful, but it's kind of not. Does that make sense? Right? Because what you're going to experience here is if we have both of these dumping, then this guy's going to have to run all the time. Right? And that's bad. That's bad. It certainly is. I wish there was a way that we could, like... I don't know. Yeah. Dumping excesses. Now it's just both are running it all the time, right? It's just constantly running because it's in dump excess mode. I don't know why you're so bad at accepting water. Right, but I guess maybe I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let me think that one through a little bit. But long story short, we got what we would expect, which is 3 stacks of osmium. We have a few more for the crushing factory to work on, but now we can put our ingots away. Let's get that ore out because I didn't mean to put that away. Tin ore, and hey, look, we happen to have a little bit of gold and silver and aluminum and cinnabar. I don't know if cinnabar will process in this thing or not, but I guess we'll find out. Cool. So now, do we have those energy upgrades? Yeah, we do. Sweet. Can we get speed upgrades times 32? Missing a little bit of iron. So to-do list, iron. Right? Can I get like 10? Nope, we are really missing iron. So the proper solution here is that. Be right back. I gotta say though, I'm loving how fast stuff processes, right? Like, look how quick everything's running. The crusher's the slowdown, obviously, right now, because I don't have a tier upgrade in that. But aside from the crusher, we're doing pretty good. Actually, let's get those 2 more speeds so that I can, let's put you, and you. Okay. So you, I'm going to hold off on speed upgrades for a minute. I'm not going to put any speed upgrades in you. We have enough for all 4 machines, but I'm going to hold off on putting any speed upgrades in. I need 2 more if I want enough for all machines. Yeah, see, we were short on iron. I was being very, very exact with how much I had available. That should be a quick process. Okay. Right. So you're going to get your speed upgrades, as are you and you, which should see things start to noticeably improve. Now, it's going to obviously increase the amount of RF we're using for this process, but that's okay. Our gas burning generator seems to be keeping up just fine. Thank you very much. So I'm going to set you... I'm going to keep you at idle, oxygen. Because, I mean, we have a large buffer. If we get to the point... Because keep in mind, we're using a lot of hydrogen in order to smelt. So I may not have to worry too much about that. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? But that's your speed with 8 in all. Okay. So let's throw some copper in here. And I want to see how quickly you keep up. Let's do like 4 speed upgrades. I feel like that would probably be good. Because that's definitely, you know, with no speed upgrades, we're definitely in good shape, right? Let's see what the backlog looks like here. 1, 2, 3, clear. Wow, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, the story is that, yeah, 4 speed upgrades is the perfect amount to keep things in line. In terms of total RF per tick use across this line, I mean, we've got like, this would have been 300, right? And that's 3,000 RF a tick, 3,000 RF a tick. And, okay, so ore processing's a little expensive, I ain't gonna lie. But I think we're cool. I forget how much RF a tick total this thing produces, but it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. We're okay. We're okay. All right, so with that said, should we just import bus from here? I think that's the right way to go. So let's do, what do we got over here? What do we got over here? What do we got over here? You've got 11 out of 32 channels in use, okay? I mean, is the excuse that a basement is designed to be messy gonna be, is that gonna fly? Is that gonna work? Have I asked you guys for paste spins for a basement yet? Send me paste spins for a basement. I'd be all about that. All right, so what we'll probably want, right, is an importer. And we could probably do some speed upgrades. Import bus. Do you not know how to make an import bus? You should. I taught you export buses, so I should probably teach you import buses. And I also want capacity cards. Do you know those yet? Just want to see if they were a thing here. Missing iron. That's what I'm trying to fix. My lack of resources. I'm getting there, Chief. So, Certus quartz seeds are growing up. Doing the iron thing. Come on. Just give me one. Only one, that's all I need. There we go. Well, I got all 4, so there you go. Okay, so you guys over here. So that I, hopefully, I'm going to put my iron away. So that I can get the importer. We're going to want at least 1 exporter. Oh yeah, I made 4 export buses because I was going to do the old way that I've done in the past. And then decided I didn't need to, so yay. Right? But I'll hang on to those because we're going to want capacity cards. I forget how many we're going to need, so let's get like a dozen, and that should be good enough for now. So the importer, and then we're also going to need the P2P, right? So it's going to be here. And let's make sure you're bound to the correct doohickey. Right? Do I have unlinked frequency 2C20? So when I do that, does that create a new frequency? So I'm assuming I have to like relink these dudes, right? But like, it doesn't look like I need to. Though I'll tell you that I did this between episodes because I put that interface down there, and I logged in to it not being online. So I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, then we can have smart cables here, and then import bus, and then we'll throw a couple acceleration cards in there just to make sure it's quick. I think 2 should be sufficient. I don't think it needs to be more than 2, right? And then. I mean, I'll look at rewiring this a little bit off camera. I know it's ugly. I know it's ugly. I know RORX. Right? And then we're just going to want our export bus here of things like this, right? And that's why we need the capacity cards. Okay. In fact, I don't know if you work. Do you work? You don't. So never mind with that, right? But we put these things away. And gold. And you know what? A couple acceleration cards wouldn't go awry here either. So, I mean, call me crazy, but this thing looks like it's working pretty good. Right? And it's pretty fast, too. And if we really were concerned about speed, we could upgrade these to higher tier factories. Absolutely possible. Absolutely doable. Right? So are any ores still chilling in here? That shouldn't be. Is lead... Did I put lead in the list? I did. Let's go upstairs for a minute and put everything that's in here that's an ore. And this will be like our pure straight up test. Did we get it all, right? So like I see platinum in the list, and I'm pretty sure iron wasn't in there either. So we'll want to make sure an osmium might not be in the export. But other than that, does black quartz get processed by Mekanism? I want to say probably not. It can be enrichment chambered, but it can't be tripled, right? So we're going to want to take care of that. So how about we do this? Let's wrap up the episode here, because I think we're pretty much at that point, right? And we'll come back next episode, and we'll just make sure that everything's good. And then we'll get into some more cool stuff. For now, Devil20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. As always, you know what to do. Take it easy. Which one did I miss here? Iron, right? Yeah, iron. That should be good.